2,000 naira Uber discount sound for your ear. All these things fit happen if you buy no unwrap and win pack. Tear am open, find cube wey get 6-digit code for wrapper, send the code go 8011 and follow wetin dem tell you to win. Promo go dey while stock dey last. Terms and conditions dey sha o. Get extra value on top no unwrap and win pack. No, eat for good.
Attention everyone, this is an important message about cholera.
Cholera is a serious disease, but we can stop it together.
Remember to always drink clean, safe water. Boil or treat your water before drinking.
Wash your hands with soap and clean water, especially before eating and after using the toilet.
Cook your food thoroughly and eat it while it is hot.
Keep your surroundings clean and dispose of waste properly.
If you or anyone you know shows symptoms like severe diarrhea or vomiting, seek medical help immediately.
So together, we can beat cholera and keep our community healthy.
This message is brought to you by Mainland 98.3 FM, Lagos. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Yes, you just won 5,000 naira cash. And you, sitting by the side, there's 1 month Showmax subscription to watch the Premier League waiting for you. You behind. Of course, you're not left out. How does 1,000 naira airtime and 2,000 naira Uber discount sound? All this could come true when you buy the No Unwrap and Win pack. Open it, look for a cube with a 6-digit code on its wrapper, text the code to 8011 and follow the prompts to win. Promo valid while stock lasts. Terms and conditions apply. Get extra value on the No Unwrap and Win pack. No, eat for good.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos.
Alright, it's time for Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is 𝐶. This is the show where we look at the major issues in the political space. And of course, today we have two very important issues. Of course, the first has to be what has dominated the conversation in the public space. It's been, I think, the conversation, that has generated the most discussion, the most conversation, the most following in the last 1 or 2 weeks. And we're talking about the planned nationwide protest. It's been, I think, one conversation that has now probably distracted us from other issues, really. Somehow it was able to dwarf the conversation around minimum wage. I think it has also dwarfed all of the conversations around importation of PMS. In fact, there's fuel scarcity now, and not many Nigerians are actually even talking about it because from the public space to NGOs, civil society organizations, security operatives, politicians, the governors, traditional rulers, the conversation is the coming, planned protest for August the 1st to 10th. And a lot that we would have to talk about today on the show, especially when it comes to this particular protest. Well, I think we're going to start this way. It's a full house. We have Barrister Curtis Adigba in the studio. We have Joseph Olorunso in the studio. We also have Honorable Bolaji Shoneye with us. Yes, in the studio. So, Nuruddin Adegbero is somewhere in Ogun State on official duty. So he's not going to be a part of the show this evening. But trust me, we're going to have a very good conversation this evening. The first issue, like I've said, is about the protests against hardship. That's the way some people target. Some have targeted a day of rage. And there are others who say it's revolution now. Wants his revolution now. And I think it's also the one that I said it's a day of rage. But of course, I think generally it's about hardship and suffering in the land. But activists are adamant. We've seen activists who have said that, look, whether the government likes it or not, the protest must happen. And that they think it's more about the rights of the people to voice, their displeasure against government policies that they think it's against the interest of the people. Of course, there are also a lot of Nigerians who have also come out to oppose the protest. I think as at the last count, more than 90 groups have issued statements against the protest. All manner of groups. I've seen different names, and I'm wondering where these groups are coming from. They've been issuing statements.
They're foreign mercenaries.
No, I don't know about that.
Those are not registered. They are registered against the protest.
I'm just saying against the protest.
Foreign mercenaries.
I'm not saying protest.
Yeah, those are the people the government told you about now. Foreign mercenaries.
No,
I don't want to be. These are Nigerians.
These are Nigerians, actually.
Okay.
And we talk about they are Nigerians.
Okay. Now understand.
With different kind of names, and they've been issuing statements.
Because they are pro. They are Nigerians. Those who are against are foreign mercenaries.
Of course, they are Nigerians.
Okay, but again, like I said, interesting names. I even saw one, Lagos State Student Association.
There's another one you have not heard.
Okay.
Doma People's Association. That one is coming.
And then there was one, I think, during the week.
Okay, let me put our own there.
Put your own too.
Edo State Association.
But there was one I saw that sounded really very funny. That looked very funny. Indigenous Women of Abuja.
Correct.
Indigenous Women of Abuja Association.
You still have foreign women of Abuja.
Anyway, by rights of association,
anybody can.
Yeah,
well, okay.
and give themselves names.
I think that's one right that is well secured in Section 40 of the 1999 Constitution. Sure. Freedom of association.
Are you sure?
Very well. So, by Zaccotis, let's get into the conversation. So, activists are adamant that the protest must continue. There are a growing opposition, to this protest. The regional groups have also disagreed. While all of that is happening, the security operatives are sounding very, very tough. The IGP 𝐓𝐡𝐞 has issued a statement. I think we're going to try and listen to what he has said so far about this protest and how the police will be responding to it. The DSS have also issued a statement. In fact, they said they've discovered people who want to cause trouble with this protest. And of course, the army also issued
scientific discovery.
Yeah, they also
civil
issued
defense.
They also issued. Everybody has issued a statement.
Security apparatus.
Operatives have all issued a statement, and I think the summary of all their statement is they are warning against troublemakers. It's a lot of warning against people they term troublemakers. So our own answer here, what we are going to be asking ourselves is that what are the real issues around the planned protest? What are the issues around the planned protest? And then the second issue, which is also about nation building, which is something that concerns everybody, even though the protest seems to have dwarfed all of the conversations around it, is the issue of Dangote and the oil cabals. This issue of Dangote and the oil cabal, as we speak, sir, fuel scarcity has resurfaced again in parts of Lagos, Abuja, and I assume that many other parts of the country. Yes,
there's no cabal in Nigeria.
We're going to get there.
There's no cabal.
Okay, but Dangote has said that, look, there's a cabal in the oil sector. If I told them,
indeed, he's a player in the industry. He would have seen some things. And for someone who has invested,
player in the country,
yes,
says there's no cabal.
Okay,
his economic policies are not to satisfy any group of cabals.
We're going to get there. Okay, we're going to get there, but. More allegations of deliberate sabotage of Dangote refinery revealed. He's revealed quite a whole lot. He's been talking. There are people who have said that Dangote.
But that talk, is it protest?
No, it's a form of protest. It's a form of protest, yes. That Dangote has spoken more in the last 1 year than 40 years or more of him. Forever. He's been talking now. This is a man that you probably would find difficult to even know the sound of his voice or recognize the sound of his voice. He's been operating businesses. He grew to become the richest man in Africa without talking. He hardly talks. But now, let's say, don't enter with the passer. But our own question here is what are the underlying issues in the Nigerian oil sector? What are those issues that seems to have brought up all of these conversations to the point where a man that we should be celebrating, who has done very, very well, decades after decades, seems to now be on a lamentation spree. It's almost a daily dose of lamentation from Alhaji Aliko Dangote. So that's the two issues we're looking at on the show this evening, Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. Like I said, we have Barrister 𝐴𝐻𝐶𝐾 in the studio. We have Honorable Bolaji Shoneye in the studio. He's joined us a number of times on the show, and I think in the Situation Room with Dr. Emi. He's a politician and he's also a political analyst. But 𝐴𝐻𝐶𝐾, of course, is a regular on the show. Joseph 𝐴lọ́runṣọ́ is here. They are still trying to solve their problem in Edo State.
We don't solve the problem. The problem has been solved.
Okay, the palace has spoken.
No,
they are not listening to the palace this time.
I don't.
Tribe knelt down before the Oba. And he said, "Is it do or die?" Go and calm down.
Okay.
He said, "Yes, sir."
We wait to see what happens.
No, I must say it's good.
With all of the political intrigues in Edo State, but let's get straight to business. We are streaming the show live on Facebook and YouTube, so you can actually watch the show and also start to drop your comments as we go on this journey of course, breaking down these two major issues. Of course, we're going to read out all your comments and contributions. It's also interactive, so we're going to open the phone lines, of course, to also take your calls at the right time. But let's go straight to business by Ʞ 𝐶𝐶. The protest, to be or not to be, statements have been issued back to back. Again, it's almost like a deja vu of what I'm talking about, the statements, especially from the security operatives of the military era, where protesters are warned, serious consequences. But there are also Nigerians who have said that, look, we cannot just allow the nation to burn in the name of protest. And what they are saying is that, look, we have a very terrible episode with EndSARS, and that we have not even recovered from that episode, and that, look, things are too fragile, things are too delicate for us to witness another EndSARS form of protest and what have you. There are also questions as to who are these guys organizing this protest. It's a faceless protest. They are also concerned about the name, the phrases that have come as to the tags around this protest. A day of rage, a revolution now.
People are not confused about who is. They are not confused about who is behind the protest. They already told you it's Peter Obi. That's the presidential spokesman. Listen, I don't know why we like pretending in this country. Protests, peaceful protests, is constitutionally recognized and guaranteed.
Yeah.
The president and most of his cabinet members or supporters use peaceful protests to trumpet their ideas in the past. In fact, there was a tweet of his that I saw today where he directly addressed the police to say, do not do anything to these young people on the streets because they are fighting for their future, they are fighting for your future, and it's about their lives. And I'm happy that the same president has come out to say, I'm not against peaceful protests. I'm only against violent protests. And I think all of us in this studio now, there's no one here who will say is in support of violent protests.
Absolutely.
Now, the security men who are always talking, they are even the worst hit set of Nigerians.
About this hardship.
But you know the issue, their top leadership benefits from the corrupt system. And so...
That's an allegation now.
No. Look, there's corruption. Corruption is a human being in this country. Let's not pretend. I'm also a member of the party that you belong to. But I would say it as it is.
It has nothing to do with political affiliation now. Now so, everybody's Nigerian.
The point is that when you talk to the rank and file of these same organizations, you know that it bites them harder. But you see, they have to perform. This is a performative act for their leaders. But you know what? It has an expiry date. We saw it in Kenya. We saw it in other parts of the world where policemen and soldiers called upon to quell riots, drop their guns and join the protests. What is important and this government must recognize, and the security agents also must recognize, is that every time we have scheduled election in Nigeria, they have always uncovered plans by saboteurs, undesirable elements.
When we plan for elections,
unscrupulous elections. Have we ever cancelled any election completely because of the potential
of crisis?
Of violence. Why do they want protests cancelled? Meanwhile, the same police and security agents have said to us, we will lead the protest, we will provide security for the protest, and we will ensure that it's peaceful. All over the world, when people are dissatisfied with policies of a government, peaceful protest is one of the ways they express themselves. We've seen that all over the world. And this whole idea in Nigeria that members of the opposition or victims of the system should be praising and supporting the system even when they are not happy, it's just dumb. Because you see, it is not the duty of the opposition to praise the ruling party. It is their duty to hold their feet to the fire and exploit their vulnerabilities and failures. That's how you get to power. And what the ruling party ought to do is to respond through policies that will numb the attacks of the opposition.
Yeah.
So this whole idea that some people are in opposition, that the protest is politically motivated, and so what? They got to power through politics. They are governing through politics. Why can't other politicians exploit their vulnerabilities using politics? Now, when did protest or prospect of protest become a coup against any government in Nigeria? And like I said, I'm totally against violent protests. I understand that it takes away from the purpose for which protests are organized. But it is guaranteed citizens can go out and express their pains.
Absolutely.
Who is it that lives in Nigeria today, except for those of them who are in government and benefiting from the resources of the nation, that will honestly say that what the people are complaining about today is not true? If he didn't know there was pain in the country, why did he say, let the poor breathe? Take your knees off their necks. So he knew. And I am not saying he was elected with a desire to come and punish Nigeria. He came with the best of intentions and gave Nigerians more hope. The intentions and the performance are not lining up.
The intentions and the performance.
And they are not lining up. There were policies that he was, on the first day, he announced that subsidy is gone. And thereafter, he floated the dollar. In the face of dwindling foreign exchange earning, as well as short supply of crude oil that is the major earner in the international market. That's where we are. So he must own up that, look, yes, even the intentions might be good, but the execution, because all Nigerian leaders, even the president, must be happy that Nigerians are trying to speak to him directly. And the mistake they are making here is that they are thinking this is a protest against President Tinubu. Don't forget that President Tinubu is not the system alone. He's at the top of the system, but it's not the system.
There are other arms.
We live in a country that different political parties occupied in my state. Mr. President, the one in Ogun State was talking.
We are going to listen to him now.
Bangkok. Look, all they needed to do is to provide good governance for their people. And the whole idea, I don't know about you, Fuad, and I don't know about you, Joseph. I don't know about you, my brother, Bolaji. I don't know, but I know of myself that Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, no opposition figure in this country will tell me, Curtis Adiba, you are having a good life.
And then you go and protest.
Go and protest. Protest over what? But when I'm not having a good life, when I'm suffering, they don't even need to mobilize me before I get up on my own. And that's what you are seeing. So this whole idea is that this protest is politically motivated. It's all songs. It's all dumb. Mr. President, don't let people deceive you. There is pain in the land. Poverty has increased. Runaway inflation, food inflation. I am quoting data churned out by an agency of government that reports to you.
MBS.
It says 32 point something. In plain man's English, let me explain to you. a pint of Gary, this small pint, 4-liter pint. Yeah. How much is it now?
Almost 4,000, 5,000.
No, you are not. You don't know the latest. So
it's about 4,000.
Maybe the one we buy before.
Yes, it don't go up.
It's about 4,000.
Well, at least between 4,000 to 5,000.
Okay.
I've been trying to get to the market myself.
The bread that we were buying
before
900 before he became president. How much is it now? Fuad, last week you lied to madam, say you know they pass that road. Don't turn anything here. So this is the reality.
Yes.
How much was the dollar? People, you can argue and say, oh, the dollar is not our local currency. Yes.
That means a whole lot.
But its impact affects directly our consumption here.
Because we're more of an importing nation.
So what was the rate? 730. What is it now? You understand what I'm saying?
I'm with you.
Now, when you have this kind of situation, don't you expect that people will complain? And this is what people are doing. The whole idea that because people are complaining that, look, we want to protest, it means they're enemy of Nigeria or the government. It's not true. Then you said, okay, I have understood. I have heard you. I know where it is pinching now. What have you done about it? And what is wrong with the people reinforcing the message? But let me say it here, and I will say it here clearly. Anyone who is trying to foment trouble in the course of this protest is an enemy of the country. You should stay at home. Don't come out. Only those who are willing to go out there, conduct themselves in peaceful ways, with a clear message to the leadership of this country across all levels, that this is what we are going through and this is what we need you to do. The leadership in the country is insensitive to the needs of the people. They're talking about economic hardship. This is the message.
Mr. Curtis, we're going to come back to anybody that wants to foment trouble, because again, the narrative out there, especially from the corridors of power, is that, look, we have a very fragile security network, you know, that might find it very difficult to curtail trouble.
Sorry, do you know the people that foment more trouble in this country than they are the security agents?
Okay.
When there's a peaceful protest, they are the one who go and throw tear gas in there, cause commotion, and then to take advantage of it.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. But Honorable Shonaye,
yes, sir.
Please permit me. Let's listen to, because again, this would also sound like the position of the government, really, apart from what the security operatives have said. We're going to listen to the IGP, and I'm going to come to Joseph Fọlọ́runṣọ́ at that point. But now, let's listen to the governor of Ogun State, Prince Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún. I think it was a Babcock convocation ceremony, and he issued a statement that seems to align with what governors have said, the presidency is saying, and everybody in power at this time, you know, against this protest. You know what the government is doing, the issue of patience. There's nothing good that can come from protest and whatever. But let's listen to Governor Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún, and then I'll let you come into the conversation. It's still Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. Let's just listen to the governor of Ogun State on this planned protest.
The planned protest scheduled for August 1st, 2024 across the country. We have been monitoring developments surrounding protest threats.
I seize this opportunity to appeal to our youth to constructively engage with government to finding lasting solutions to Nigeria's problems, rather than engaging in protests that may start peacefully but usually get hijacked and may lead to anarchy. What have we ever gained from protests except losses in productivity, loss of lives, loss of private and government property, looting, and vandalization of assets? This government has only been in office for 1 year. Cutting of the head is not the solution to a headache. Inflation is worldwide. Our president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, had very little choices when he assumed office. He had to take the bull by the horn. He had to remove the subsidy. He had to float the naira. Otherwise, it would have been worse. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, this administration has initiated a lot of interventions to cushion the effect of inflation. Recently, we've had the announcement of the minimum wage. We've had a lot of youth and vulnerable empowerment. Student loans are being put in place. Agric and fertilizer inputs are being given to our farmers. They are provided food items as palliatives at subsidized prices, amongst others. Great Nigerian students, this current wave of inflation is biting everywhere. It is in the UK, in the US, in Ghana, and in Egypt. So it is not peculiar to Nigeria alone. Which investor will be attracted to a nation that is under siege by protesters or perceived as not peaceful? Please do not allow yourself to be used by a so-called leaderless movement sponsored by frustrated politicians who tried in the past and lost. We do not need protest. We must not gamble with anarchy. Please let us dialogue.
All right, that was a voice of the governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun. Basically, like I said, ventilating and, of course, bringing to the table again the position of the government. The last part of that statement was we should not gamble with anarchy. Of course, he talks about some of the things the government is already doing to address the hardship in the country. He also said that, look, don't follow so-called faceless protesters. We don't know the people behind. Like I said, these have been the issues, really. The fact that, look, this could snowball into violence. The organizers are faceless, but I think the issue of faceless, again, may have been countered because quite a number of persons have now come out to say, look, we are actually also behind this particular protest. Buadegboru SAN has in fact written to the IGP and has also issued a statement to say, look, I'm part of it. Deji Adeyonju has also done the same thing. Yᴏᴜᴛᴜ said that, look, the letter only came through social media and television. That if you want to use anywhere in Abuja, you have to come, write letter, come and meet him, and then you pay. That you would have to pay. That's what he's saying. That it's not that you now write it on social media. Again, of course, probably just buttressing the fact that, look, he has said that there's no room for protest in Abuja.
Need the venue.
Yes.
The streets are there.
Everybody can gather.
But anyways, that's the position. But you listen to the governor of Ogun State, Honorable Shoneyi.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, more of what the government has been saying about the possibility of this protest descending into anarchy, and we operate a very fragile system now to want to gamble with the protests at this time. So what do you have to say to that?
Firstly, I would like to emphasize that peaceful protest is a right of every citizen of a country. And it's one of the ways to hear their pains, to put it out there to the government, to make adjustment in things that is hurting their means of living. And in as much as that is actually a civil right and no government should even stop that, the people should also be very sensitive to the times that we are operating now. They will say once bitten, twice shy. We saw from the last protest that happened in Nigeria, in the country, and how it ended. Nobody wanted it that way, and nobody want anything of such to actually happen again. I also don't want to see the security operatives are saying there should be no protest. We all hear what they're saying is that this protest should be peaceful, and then they will not condone any form of vandalism of means of life or livelihoods of the people. From the last protest that happened in the country, a lot of people have not recovered. And I must say the destruction of businesses and properties are worth over 20 billion naira put together. The state is yet to recover. How much more individuals recovering from this? So if people are saying that, okay, why don't we look at other means outside of protest? It doesn't mean they are saying that people don't have the right to protest. They're only trying to say that what happened before, if we can avoid it, we should in the best way. Everyone, as a matter of fact, the publicity this protest had gotten already is enough protest on its own. The government had heard the people loud and clear, even without having to come to the streets. That is the first thing. And the matter of hardship, yes, there is hardship in Nigeria, there is hardship in the country, but of course it's a global thing. We shouldn't just make it a Nigerian issue alone. But yet, that doesn't mean the Nigerians are not feeling the heat. And there are some things as a people we can also do for ourselves that the government can never do for us. I think this whole protesting started with different many names or small names. I think it started from the being power thing, you know. And when people shout the being power left, right, and center, I look at it that should we tell ourselves the truth? The government cannot feed the people. Even your own father that gave birth to you, nurtured you and all of that, at a particular age, you will be weaned off. You will be let go to go and start a life for yourself. Yes, they will probably have empowered you with some one or two things to make life comfortable, you know. But if everybody is expecting the government should feed us, the government should provide food, the government, I must say, it's going to make matters more worse. Food inflation became this worse as a result of all this free food intervention from the government. Either we like it or not, it's playing a very big role on inflation, because one of the things that happen is when government give out billions to buy these foods, they go to the market and make heavy demand. The heavier demand, the more scarce the product become. The more the scarcity of products, the higher the prices. It's simple economics here. So one, protest, yes, people have the right to protest peacefully if you can conduct yourself. I must say, those who are now coming out to identify or put their name in, or their name to their face, now saying, no, I'm part of this protest, was as a result of serious call out that nobody will come and tell us to come and protest without you coming out yourself, without us knowing you. You cannot tell us to come and protest and then you stay back at home, probably even with your kids outside of the country, and you expect us to come out and protest. Yes, the president of Nigeria had once protested before. In fact, as an opposition, every opposition takes advantage of protest or takes advantage of the hardship on the people to sell out their message, yes. But when these people were doing it then, they led from the front. They had their faces to it. They had their integrity to it. They also know that if these things go the other way and leads to anarchy, they will be held responsible. For this reason, they were very, very sensitive, and they managed the information of how the protest should go very well, such that the people who came out to demonstrate did so as peacefully as possible. I'm a public person, and I must say that this morning I was in a marketplace because I'm a farmer. And I was in the midst of women who, do buy farm products. And these women were saying within themselves, next week, our 괏ᴜᴜᴜ, it was shelling some weeks ago or some years ago. We have not recovered yet, and all of this. These are even the locals that are also affected. Nobody wants violence. Nobody. So I must say that nobody is saying there shouldn't be protest if you can coordinate yourself as peaceful as possible. If you choose to be part of the protest, this is within your civic right, yes. But you should also know, as little as blocking the road, you're already also impeding on the rights of other people's passageway who don't want to be part of the protest. So if we want to do this protest, I remember when late son, Gani Faremi, used to have his protest. It comes to Fountain Park. There's an open space there where everybody gathers and nobody's blocking the road. People go their normal business way. Nobody's barricading the road. Nobody's burning tires. Sometimes it's so easy to accuse the security agencies of first throwing tear gas. When protest starts, there are hoodlums, urchins by the roadside who will take advantage of regular two fighting without a protest. A regular two fighting on the streets, they begin to loot. How much more now where they have thousands of people gather where they can hide under and start to misbehave? When these people start to do as little as just burning tires in the name of protest, you don't expect the police to look at them. And these are days where social media now is used to pass so many false messages. The moment you have one hoodlum arrested because of a shared sentiment of everybody's against the government for some reasons, you will begin to see them tag the police, the security agencies who are out there to protect the peaceful protesters from these hoodlums. They begin to change narratives. And the moment things begin to get different narratives, it begins to go the other way. I must say, yes, for me, things are expensive in the country, but it's not Nigeria alone. Nigerians are feeling the heat, yes. People have the right to call out whoever is responsible. And from the statement of the governor, if we listen to it very well...
the governor of Ogun State, yes. Yes,
technically. The governor of Ogun State is saying the things the president is doing. That's the center. He is not saying anything about what they are doing as governors.
Okay, well, I want to... Because, again, I don't want to lose track of some of the questions I wanted to ask you, basically from what you said so far.
Yeah.
Again, there's the issue of free food intervention, because again, we're talking about inflation now. Food inflation in Nigeria is over 40%.
Indeed.
Headline inflation, about 32.6% as we speak. Now, you said that, look, the first statement was that, look, the government cannot feed everybody.
Of course.
And I don't think Nigerians want the government to feed them. I think Nigerians are saying, look, create the enabling environment for us to be able to do businesses and feed ourselves. That's number one. Okay. Number two, food intervention. Something led to something. There was a time Nigerians were able to feed themselves. Absolutely. This intervention of sharing food was as a result of the policies of the government. So don't you think that, look, this issue still goes back to the fact that the government has issues with its policies and they need to rework those policies?
Okay, when it comes to government policies on food intervention,
yes,
I think
because this issue of sharing rice, in fact, Look,
And there are
I'm
different
sure if I
angles
put my
to
phone
it.
lines now, there are Nigerians who will tell you, we've told them, don't share rice. We don't want rice. Create the enabling environment for us to be able to do business and
there are
feed
different
ourselves.
angles
Yes.
to it. Yes. Talk about food inflation. Let's look at this angle of government supporting agriculture.
Yes.
Providing fertilizers. Please, can anybody here go on that social media handle and just mention openly on Twitter or Instagram and just make a post about encouraging Nigerians to go into farming and see the haul of insults that come to you. Nobody is ready to go into farming. Don't let me use the word nobody. A higher percentage of Nigerians are not ready to go into the production of food itself that will solve our problem of food insufficiency.
Yeah.
And yet they continue to say government. Government is saying, okay, I'll make fertilizers available. How many of them are applying for fertilizers? How many of them are willing to go into food production? And the little that are even going into food production are trying to maximize profit and even exporting whatever they produce.
For those, I'm going to allow you to react, by Mr. Curtis. Just one question before I allow Mr. Curtis to react to what you're saying. For those that are farming, especially in the north-central part of the country, the northwest, are you fully aware of the challenges of insecurity?
Insecurity is
the fact that farmers have been kidnapped, they can't access their farms, bandits are holding sway, there's the elder farmer clashes. Honorable Shune, this is the reality. For even the parts of the southwest that you have arable land, there are concerns about insecurity, kidnappings and what have you. Don't you think again? Because again, I'm sure there are a lot of Nigerians who will tell you that, look, there's nothing wrong in farming, really. I have a very young brother who finished from...
I'm a farmer myself.
You're a farmer yourself. But don't you think that, look, it is not that Nigerians don't want to farm? Because farming is not like the old way of tilling the ground and what have you. There are technology that's coming to farm. But the issue of insecurity that people have always talked about, do you think that in itself is the reason why young Nigerians or the Nigerians who say would not want to go into farming?
Okay, that is the main reason in the south. In the north, yes, it's actually it's a very clear thing that they are facing insecurities, challenges. But the question is, these same people who are facing, of course, we are all Nigerians, we are facing it together, even if we are not facing it directly here. All right, these same people, in what way are they assisting security agencies?
Which people now?
The people of the north, the farmers themselves, for example, by sharing information that is very valuable with the security agencies to assist, of course. We don't expect the farmers to face the men with the AK-47s. We don't expect them to do that. But at least to, in best ways, put out information as far as the location of these perpetrators of evils who are actually disturbing the peace of Nigeria.
For every question I've asked you, you've put the blame back to the people. But Mr. Curtis,
we are all Nigerians, except to tell ourselves the truth and accept some part of it, which is our part, and then of course take back the other one, which is that of the government.
All right.
But yes, every time trying to insulate ourselves from the truth.
So you think the people should?
We have a role, a very big role.
And we are feeling at that role. The people are feeling at that
to a large extent.
All right, Mr. Curtis.
You know, it's very difficult. The government people telegraph. I come from the North Central.
Yes.
There's nothing we have not done. We formed civilian JTF. We formed all kind of groups, just to allow us go back to our farms. And they will invade our land and take it over completely. And so it's very hard to sit here and listen to this kind of rhetoric. But let me ask you a simple question, and that is to say, the government sent out help to people in form of dubious kind of food supply. Do you know how much government spent on the food? Since this government came into power, can you tell Nigerians here how much this government has spent on food that caused the inflation, vis-a-vis the 21 billion that was spent on renovating the vice presidential lodge? The other hundreds of billions spent on renovating Dodan Barracks and Aso Rock Villa
and all that.
The yacht. The personnel costs, the billions that went into buying new vehicles. These things don't lead to inflation. They spend billions of naira taking care of themselves, but once they spend 5 naira to the Nigerian people, it has caused inflation. This is the same argument we have been hearing, and not with this government alone. Previous governments. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I'm with you.
Now, the truth of the matter is that all of a sudden, we're doing everything we can to criminalize protests. When a vehicle kills someone in an accident, it is the same vehicle that will take the corpse for funeral. We can't say because something went wrong once, it will always go wrong. The urchins that they are talking about, they know how to keep them in check. When the presidential or governor's convoy is passing the road, it's not a problem. They know where they are. They know how to remove them from the street when they are organizing
rallies
and events for themselves. When it comes to the same people reminding government about their difficult plight, then it becomes a problem. Now, he talked about hardship all over the world. And of course, yes, we know there are hardships all over the world. But you know the difference? Government in other parts of the world took active steps, constructive, innovative steps to deal with those hardships and ensure that the people have a better living condition. I'm sure you heard about unemployment benefits that are paid to people.
And in Nigeria, the government is also, the president is also doing something
and that is
similar.
What is leading to inflation.
It's part of it, of course. No, of course. See, the truth is, it's going to be a balance of it. But we cannot continue to look away from this and not look at the other side.
The point I'm making is that I think Nigerians are given enough support. They go out there, stayed in the sun, in the rain, to elect people to solve their problems. If people get to power, they become the problems the Nigerian people have to solve themselves. And then they keep blaming the people for as reasons why
there's a problem.
There's a problem. There is nowhere in the world.
Nobody here had blamed the people. We're only saying we, the people, should also play our part and take.
But Honorable Shonaye, how well has the government played its own part?
We are playing our parts as citizens.
Would you say the government has perfectly played its own part in all of this conversation?
Absolutely not. I would not say the government had perfectly the word.
Let's wait.
Now, trying to put a balance. Try to put a balance.
The role of the government and the people.
Let's look at the last 1 year. Let's look at the last 1 year. To a large extent, I would say I would relieve the president a little of this pressure and then pass it over to the governors of the states. The president took some policies to make funds available for local production and growth. And what do I mean? By floating the naira is to make sure there is enough allocation or more money revenue for the states. These revenues are created and every Nigerian knows that the revenue of their states are, if not double, at more than double. Some are almost double of whatever it is they are earning. The question we should ask ourselves, what are these governors doing in their states? I could look at this governor of Niger State, Bago, if I'm not wrong. Look at how that man is heavily investing and encouraging his people to go into agriculture. What are other governors doing with these monies?
Oh, you want to
so I should say the people should focus their
I want you to talk about the IGP. But
yes, we shouldn't just leave them out of this situation.
I understand that there are bright spots in different parts of the country. In other words, people are doing good
One or two things,
left, right, and center. But we all know that increased revenue has never translated to increased well-being of the people in this country.
Now, the revenue in the hands of the governors, are you now saying that for it to translate, the president, it's not the role of the president. The people should hold their governors responsible as well.
Can I tell you, in a proper democracy, it's not the role of the president to generate revenue for governors. So let's get that straight.
Unfortunately, that's what we find ourselves in this country.
The governors ought to generate their own revenue and use it. So the point I'm making is that the president should not have identified more revenue as priority.
As a solution to the problem.
Without a mechanism for transforming more revenue into more well-being for the people.
I don't know whether you get that part of the conversation.
I understand what is.
Look, there are people who have argued that, look, the president is a veteran when it comes to politics. He understands governance. And he understands the weakness within the structure when it comes to management of resources, revenue, allocations, and what have you.
I'm talking about his understanding of the weakness of the structure. That is where the local government.
I'm coming. But that's why people are saying that, look, if you know there's a problem with the structure, why not fix the structure first before all of the policy decisions?
But I hope you understand that the country cannot be put to a pause until the structure is fixed.
So, and that's what people are now saying, that look, instead of going on those policy directions on the first day of getting into office, which is basically about aggressive revenue for government, why not fix the problem first? Because you already know that, look, the fact that you have more money to share among government will not automatically translate into better living for the people.
Whatever leaves the federation account to the states, it's out of the control
of the president. If he knew that, so why didn't he just wait? Yes.
Now we the people, knowing that these monies are now our wealth, our common patrimony, are now in the hands of this government.
So the people should do.
I rather say Why not? If we can hold the president accountable, why can't we hold the governors accountable?
But you also know what the people are saying about the presidency.
Yeah.
As much as we keep blaming the governors too, would you say that with all of the enormous resources that we still domicile at the federal level, whether you like to, if you look at the FAC allocation,
of course, there's
the humongous amount of money is still domiciled at the federal level.
Looking at that,
how well would you say the president has performed?
Looking
with
at
all of the powers
of money, what we should rather look at now are the infrastructures the center is putting in place across the country.
Okay.
Vis-a-vis what the governors have received and what they are doing in their state.
Okay.
But look at the road from the Lagos Calabar Express.
That one we are
I'm just saying.
You know, even the governor of Ogun State, is telling us something, and we didn't actually listen.
Okay.
He said this government is just there for 1 year.
Okay.
And I know by my own record, since I'm making mistake that President Abiodun have been there, and this should be the 5th year.
He was talking about the president. He was talking about the president.
Okay, so it's not government.
That is where I'm saying now. We should look at what are the governors doing. The president is doing his part, yes, to a large extent.
Then the other one is this.
Policies can still be adjusted.
Then the other one I want to add to it.
But these governors should be called out.
Sir, the other one I want to add to it, Oga Fuad.
Yes, I'm with you.
So that Nigeria, we all educate ourselves. We should only look at President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. APC government have been there for the since 2015. The one whether the governor or president is from the APC, so we should be looking at the APC stroke the government. And by the way, the president told us then that he's going to continue the good work of the former president of Federal Republic of Nigeria. So the question is, before he become the president, he know all the challenge. I even told us that make una no pity me. I asked for the job, and I am going to make sure I
deliver on the job. Yeah.
Let's look at one thing. Issue concerning the youth. As I'm talking to you, there are a lot of students who are struggling at the University of Lagos, occasioned by before they pay service charge. No federal university pay school fees before. You only pay service charge. As science student, 20,500. Non-science, that management courses is 90,500. As I'm talking to you today, no student in Unilag is paying less than 150,000 naira. No student in Unilag is paying less than at least 50-something thousand naira for hostel. And before, the entire 50,000 naira will cover the school fees, cover the hostel. Not that these parents are maybe the business that they are not doing.
They've told them to go and get the student
And now
loan.
you are not telling me now you go to student loan. It's like, till tomorrow I'll be saying that student loan like People's Bank. You know, some of us that are a bit older, you know what the scenario of People's Bank will still come to play. You cannot you can't increase the student school fees. Then you not say, go for student loan. Do you have data? Do you have data for you to now capture those that actually need the loan? But tomorrow you know that the children of the politicians will now go and collect the loan. They know at the end of the day they are not going to pay.
Well, but Mr. Curtis, again, the balance now, because again, Honorable Missionary has brought in a lot of conversation about balancing the role of the government and the people. And I think that you said, it should be more about what the government is able to put together for the people to follow.
Fuad,
yes.
Is there anybody in the studio here who is asking the government to do for him what he can do for himself?
No, definitely no. And that's why we elect people.
So I don't understand.
Yes.
Listen, I as a citizen know my duties and have been able to perform or discharge those duties to the best of my ability. Where I am not able to do so, the government can also hold me accountable for doing them, for not doing them. Now, the point is this. Now, since this government came in May 2023, right? Yes. For instance, now, we are all citizens of Nigeria. Let me ask you a question. What sector of the Nigerian economy?
Mention the sector.
The one?
I'll do me measure it.
Is it, look, although they say they've introduced these policies to bring us out of the economic present here, is it security? Is security better? Do you understand what
I'm with you, yes.
Is it the management of foreign exchange?
Foreign exchange, yes.
Is it abundance of fuel for Nigerians? Don't forget that when they removed the subsidy, the chief argument was that now fuel will be available.
Yeah.
Because since the regulation has been taken off, just anybody can bring in and then
sell at their prices.
And sell at their prices. Now, how many people are bringing fuel? You have to be licensed by the NNPC before you can bring
even
it
those
in.
ones that have the license cannot even bring in anything,
So
because there's no forex for them to bring it in.
And then the whole thing rests on the fact that this president inherited the worst economy. And this argument or rationalization coming from people like Akpabio, coming from people like Governor Abiodun,
who were part
key
of the
operators in the last government. So you know that this is the whole joke. Have you asked yourself why progressively things have gotten worse in Nigeria? The president and all of us sitting here condemn President Goodluck Jonathan for running a corrupt and bad government. Is that not so?
Yes.
We bundled him out, and then we brought President Buhari.
And under him, Emefiele did all the deed.
And then what happened? Under Buhari, we are now being told that the Buhari's government was the worst before this one came. And this one now is the best. See, you look, and that is why I have said in this studio before, I am not an economist. And all the economists can talk about the Gini coefficiency, they can talk about the GDPs, they can talk about the value of this and value of
data,
that.
yeah.
But what is important to me as an ordinary Nigerian, and I think I speak for most Nigerians when I say this, my conditions of living, that is the most important economic measure of my well-being. I gave an example here. Before this government came into power, I will buy electricity for 100,000. It gives me 1,200 kilowatts. Right? Now, the same usage, in fact less, I am buying 300,000 to get 1,200. And you are telling me the policies you have introduced is better for me? How much are you paying for electricity yourself? The last time that they published the list of debtors, government agencies are
the highest.
Are the biggest debtors. They are not paying. So let's tell ourselves the truth.
All right, Mr. Curtis, we'll take a very short break. We have some commercials to deal with. It take us like about 3 or 4 minutes, and then we'll come back.
It could bring money.
Of course, it's about money, really. So we'll quickly take these commercials and I'll be right back. Political Roundtable Mainland 98.3 FM.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos.
Hey there! Yes, you! You just won 5,000 Naira cash! And you, sitting by the side, there's 1 month Showmax subscription to watch the Premier League waiting for you! You behind! Of course! You're not left out! How does 1,000 Naira airtime and 2,000 Naira Uber discount sound? All this could come true when you buy the No Unwrap and Win pack. Open it, look for a cube with a 6-digit code on its wrapper, text the code to 8011 and follow the prompts to win. Promo valid while stock lasts. Terms and conditions apply. Get extra value on the No Unwrap and Win pack. No, eat for good.
Open defecation in Nigeria perpetuates a cycle of poor health, environmental degradation, and undermines human dignity. With approximately 47 million people practicing open defecation nationwide, Nigeria ranks among the top countries globally with the highest number of individuals who lack access to proper sanitation facilities. The stats look grim. The overriding effect in itself can be terrible to our general well-being. In that light, we from Mainland 98.3 FM call on the government to increase its efforts in providing public toilets to end this scourge. And we also encourage the citizenry to imbibe proper hygiene and not defecate in public.
What about sunrise? What about rain? What about all things that you said?
Hello, 괶ᴜ. Hey, you just win 5,000 5,000 naira cash. And you wey sit down for corner, 1 month Showmax subscription to watch Premier League dey wait for you. And you for back, no fear, you sef dey inside am. How 1,000 naira airtime and 2,000 naira Uber discount sound for your ear? All these things fit happen if you buy no unwrap and win pack. Tear am open, find cube wey get 6-digit code for wrapper, send the code go 8011 and follow wetin dem tell you to win. Promo go dey while stock dey last. Terms and conditions dey sha o. Get extra value on top no unwrap and win pack. No, eat for good.
Attention everyone, this is an important message about cholera.
Cholera is a serious disease, but we can stop it together.
Remember to always drink clean, safe water. Boil or treat your water before drinking.
Wash your hands with soap and clean water, especially before eating and after using the toilet.
Cook your food thoroughly and eat it while it is hot.
Keep your surroundings clean and dispose of waste properly.
If you or anyone you know shows symptoms like severe diarrhea or vomiting, seek medical help immediately.
Together, we can beat cholera and keep our community healthy.
This message is brought to you by Mainland 98.3 FM, Lagos. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Hello, Tᴏɪᴛ. You just win 5,000 naira cash. And you wey sit down for corner, 1 month Showmax subscription to watch Premier League dey wait for you. And you for back, no fear, you sef dey inside am. How 1,000 naira airtime and 2,000 naira Uber discount sound for your ear? Send the code go 8011 and follow wetin dem tell you to win. Promo go dey while stock dey last. Terms and conditions dey sha o. Get extra value on top no unwrap and win pack. No, eat for good.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos.
All right, we are back and it's still Political Roundtable Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Sahid Fuhad. And of course, we have two very important issues on the roundtable this evening. The protest against hardship, and I think we've been able to touch on critical aspects of the conversation. Like I said, in the last 1 or 2 weeks, it's been the major issue in the political space. We're going to listen to the IGP. That's IGP 𝐶 what he's saying. Yeah, okay, he's also a doctor. Okay, Dr. 𝐶 what he's saying. When he came in as IGP, he said he felt like a lion, he felt like a tiger, and that he was going to go out there and deal with every troublemaker in the land. So we're going to try and listen to him and actually be, because Barrister Kosi just mentioned something now, which triggered quite a number of things in my mind. And I look, if this was a pro-government protest, if all of these 90 groups that are now saying they are pulling out from any form of protest or speaking against the protest were to be the ones saying they want to protest in support of the government, won't the police not protect them? Protect strong statements.
And if the pro-government, for example, also leads to chaos, it is the job of the police to also disperse them by every means possible to ensure the safety of life and property.
Meanwhile, what we have, based on our history, and what we know, is that every time people want to protest in favor of the government, they want the rest of us they give us names. To troublemakers. To stay at home, not to come out. Do you get my point?
I'm with you, yes.
So this is the double standard that the security agents are known for all the time.
Okay.
They don't think that they are serving the Nigerian people. They think that at every point in time, they are serving those in power.
Whereas they should be serving the Nigerian people.
You remember this guy at the SSS? You remember when Peter Afunaya also? Every time he issued a statement in the past, you would think it's ᴏᴜᴛ of PDP that was issuing that statement on behalf of the party.
Yes.
Against the APC then, when the APC was in opposition.
No, it was this Marilyn Oga.
Marilyn Oga. Yes, now, but
Iron
now,
Lady.
This one now is the chief detective. He knows everything that's happening.
Okay, let's listen to the IGP because, again, like I said, the army has spoken, very strong statements too. It almost brought a deja vu, really, for me, because the last time I heard some strong statements against a protest of any kind was during the military era. But again, these statements are coming. Let's listen to IGP 𝐴𝐵TOKUN and we'll be right back.
The planned protest scheduled for August 1st, 2024 across the country. We have been monitoring developments surrounding protest threats, while some groups call for violent protests, emulating Kenya's recent events, others advocate for peaceful demonstrations. However, some individuals promote peaceful protest with violent undertones, raising concerns about their sincerity. We have our own history of violent protests in Nigeria, and I don't believe we have to look to other countries to note the dangers of unchecked demonstrations. We commend patriots who have withdrawn from the protest due to the apparent sinister motives and ignorance of those calling for our country may be manipulating the process. We confirm the affairs are genuine, as we have credible intelligence on foreign mercenaries' involvement in this planned protest. The Nigerian police urge all Nigerians to exercise caution and think twice before joining any protest group. While we alert citizens to the sinister motives of certain groups planning to wreak havoc, it has become clear that even a peaceful protest may be ill-timed test for their criminal agendas. We will not tolerate the killing of innocent citizens, destruction of public infrastructure and private property, or looting of private businesses. We acknowledge the constitutional right of Nigerian citizens to peaceful assembly and protest. However, in the interest of public safety and order, we urge all groups planning to protest to provide necessary details to the Commissioner of Police in the state where protest is intended to take place. To facilitate a successful and incident-free protest, they should please provide the following information. 1. Proposed protest routes and assembly points. 2. Expected duration of the protest. 3. Names and contact details of protest leaders and organizers. 4. Measures to prevent hijacking by criminal elements, including key identifiers for possible isolation of potential troublemakers. By providing this information, the police will be enabled to deploy adequate personnel and resources to ensure public safety, designate specific routes and areas for the protest to avoid conflicts with other events or activities, establish clear communication channels with protest leaders to address any concerns or issues that may arise, minimize the risk of violence, property damage, or other criminal activity. We encourage all protesters to cooperate with the police, obey the law, and adhere to global best practices for peaceful assembly to guarantee a safe and successful exercise of their rights. We are committed to working with all Nigerians to promote peaceful expression and maintain public order. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation. May the God of all creations help us to build our nation.
That was the voice of IGP Kayode 𝐴𝐵TOKUN, Dr. Kayode 𝐴𝐵TOKUN. Joseph had to correct me on that. Strong statements by Mr. Curtis Adigba. I think the first one we can take away from that is that, look, he's not saying people should not protest.
No, that's what he's saying. I don't want protests. Because
he did not say that.
Listen.
It's a balanced one.
Okay, yes.
The things he has required of would-be
for you to be able to protest, yes,
are simply saying you cannot protest because nobody will protest. What then is the function of the police? The police can designate route for them because they are the only ones who have information as to the other activities that will be taking place on the same day. So why don't you coordinate with them and say, okay, this place you cannot pass there, this event is going on there.
He said, look, we don't even know them. So they need to come, bring their names, bring their contacts.
Have a meeting with the police.
Can I ask you?
Yes,
that you guys can discuss about even routes.
When has this become
the standard for protest?
Requirement? And what provision of the Constitution does this peaceful protest violate? Why does the police exist? Do the police exist only for peaceful times? Now, if people are saying we are coming out to protest,
yes,
even for those who have openly said we want a peaceful protest, the IGP imputed criminal undertones because he read their intentions by saying, even though they are saying we want peaceful protest.
He said
but,
some.
But
He said some. He said some.
No.
He's not referring to totality.
You know, in the statement clearly, you saw that the IGP even said that those that have pulled out from the protest are patriots. So it means that those that want to protest are not patriots. And
he didn't say that.
Honorable Shene,
he didn't say that.
No. We are communicators. I'm just saying. If you say, those that have pulled out are patriots, it means that those that want to protest are not patriots. So the police will see them as people who are not patriots. That's number two. He also talked about foreign mercenaries in this conversation. He brought up the conversation.
And then you will feel that in a heightened kind of tension, the
environment
that we have, it is the responsibility of the immigration and the police to prevent undesirable elements from coming into our country. Now, if you fail to man the borders and prevent people from coming, the interpretation of foreign mercenaries mean those who are protesting.
So they are also seen as foreign mercenaries.
Yeah, because they are not patriots. Because they are not patriots.
So in every environment there are criminals.
Yes.
In every environment, of course, there are criminals. That doesn't make everybody one.
Okay.
All right. And then if we look at countries where protests have been having, should I say, the influence of external countries, or should I say, foreign mercenaries like this, it eventually led into a situation of chaos or even possible civil war.
But do you think
Let's
that
look at
there's
the
a possibility
of Syria.
Were there foreigners in EndSARS protests? Did you have foreign mercenaries?
In the case of Syria, was there foreign mercenaries? They were Syrians who were also paid one way or the other or influenced.
We are not Libyans or Syrians.
We are Nigerians, and it is these same Nigerians we have people causing insecurity.
I'm coming.
Who are Nigerians as well.
I'm coming.
So the question we should ask,
but you think
they are not foreigners.
With this particular protest now, from everything we've seen,
the
social media, every of the thing around this coming protest, this coming protest, do you think there's an indication really? I'm not going to doubt what the police is saying. One would assume that they have enough intelligence to deal and discover some of these things. But do you think sincerely that the conversation around foreign mercenary really makes sense?
If you ask me, I don't have information, or I am also not abreast of whatever information they have or intelligence they have.
But from
that makes
everything makes
the IGP to make that statement.
Yes.
Okay, but of course we cannot take it away from a security person, somebody entrusted to secure all Nigerians, okay, to use what statement at what time. I also want to clear out something.
Yes.
That as far as this protest is concerned, the statements of the IG is even serving as a deterrent to whoever troublemaker wants to come and disrupt the peacefulness of this protest. So
you think it's even good for the would-be protester?
Yes,
that it's not anything. Okay, you don't see it as a threat. Really.
I don't really
it's more
see it
of a protection for the would-be protester.
Come out
okay,
and protest
peacefully, the police will protect you.
Nobody's going to touch you.
But you're not a patriot. Of course,
the IGP also says something.
Yeah,
we the people. Let's, for example, say I'm part of the protest, and while we're going on our peaceful procession, I'm able to identify some one or two moves I see around, and I consider it's not okay, could actually affect whatever it is we are doing. It is my responsibility to pass information, put a call across to whatever security apparatus. For example, Lagos have got 767. You can actually make a call to 767. Say, I'm on so street peacefully protesting, but I'm noticing some gathering that are also unsafe.
The problem with our conversation here is that government expect that the citizens be perfect in crying out to the government for help.
You know, like when you beat somebody and the person is crying, and you are telling the person how to cry.
That citizens must conduct themselves in absolutely perfect manner,
peaceful,
before they can even open their mouth to complain about things. But those in government are not perfect. We see how they constantly oppressing the people, even when the people say this is not right. They ignore them. So this is the point. The IGP cannot describe those who are not in support of the protest as patriots. And it doesn't have to openly characterize those who are in support
as troublemakers.
As troublemakers before I know that
he feels some
that they are troublemakers.
Some troublemakers.
What he has said is that
those who are coming out of the protest
I heard him
are troublemakers.
when he said there are some people who are promised, but they have violent.
On Friday, he spoke with us on Friday, and he has called it a day of rage.
A day of rage.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, maybe that's what the IGP is saying.
This has got a violent undertone. What is rage going to be? What is rage going to bet?
If a man is angry, all right, does it mean that because he's angry he'll go about destroying things? That's what simply rage means.
But what of the undertone of a day of rage?
Look, these things have been used even in the United States, the last major protest was described as the Day of Rage. I don't know how many bridges they burnt.
Then it's not out of place for the IG.
Let's look at some of the fundamental issues.
Even the Kenyan protests that they are using as an example now,
yes.
You know, to blackmail an event that has not even happened. The protesters in Kenya were not violent. I hope you know that. I need to correct this. They were peaceful as much as they could.
But it descended into anarchy eventually.
It was the police that attacked them. And are you aware that the IGP in Kenya has stepped down?
Yes.
After he owned up to the fact that he messed up.
The police didn't do the right thing.
The police didn't do the right thing. So it's not enough to just blackmail everybody with one tar. This protest is going to be violent. That's why we don't want you to hold it. Elections in Nigeria.
Nobody should not hold elections.
That's what they are saying without saying it openly.
They are not saying that.
I think let's see something fundamental. Let's look at something that's very fundamental. The issue of the question that the people are asking.
Yes.
Issue of hunger and the rest of them. For me, instead of the IGP giving all this kind of wonderful, it's a PhD, show that is his PhD actually earned it. Giving this kind of wonderful speech, he would have told all the scorecard what he has done so far. For last year, I moved to my state, and in Akoko Edo, we have top here. When you're in my place, you can see very close to Ajakuta, Okene, and the rest of them. Then, when growing up, when you are there's a place you will be, which I only go there last year, you will be seeing farm from my state. We have boundary with Okene. Farm from that place.
Farmland, people farming,
Okpela, and the rest of them. I finished from my state. I went to Okene, moved down to Ajakuta, moved down to Lokoja. You don't see traces of what.
Nobody's farming.
Nobody's farming. And I have to ask
what's their reason for abandoning the farmlands?
There are serious
insecurity.
Yeah. And IGP and in MEM are in charge of internal security. Instead of them to apologize to us and say, do you know what? We failed the system. Not only that, I was in Benue State. That's what many times I talk about. I was in Benue State. I visited 5 official IDP. You understand? This guy is telling Oga.
A lot of the farmers are in the IDPs,
But we cannot go to the farm. And you are not saying that you are in Nigeria, anybody that you are entitled to protect the life and property of Nigeria, and you are not doing it for all those, okay, you are just there for a year plus, and you are not doing that. People now say want to ask a question about hunger. You are not saying some people who are foreign machinery and the rest of them. For me, the security agency, we should, if there's anything that will happen on this protest, the security agency should be held responsible because their tone is not showing that they are having third department. You understand? Look at what the DSA say. The military are saying something. What bothers them with me? They should be if Cameroon, Ghana want to tamper with our sovereignty, military should deal with them. But this is actually the job of police. But the police have already, before we start the process, they are telling us that they are going to fail us. Because you cannot see an IGP coming out with this. It means that you already separate the two people. Those that are pro, those who will provide cover, because those are if they are patriot, they will provide cover for them. Though the other people who they did not give them address,
villains,
they are become a criminal, and you say you want to charge them. So
again,
my appeal is this:
yes,
my appeal is this. The peace of Nigeria is in the hand of the security. If they are not able to manage,
is in the hands of Nigerians.
No,
is in the hands of Nigerians. Because the security
apologies to all. Sorry, hold on. We are going to stretch this conversation. Apologies to all our listeners.
Let us take responsibility.
I've decided to step down.
Sorry, if they cannot manage it, it's possible because some of those.
What's even the population of police? What are the numbers of the policemen?
Whose responsibility is it to hire more policemen? Look, don't go into that
argument. If they cannot manage it,
do you know why? Fuad, hold on, please. Do you know why you should not go into that argument?
So for this purpose now, they should hire more policemen just because we protest.
Estimatedly, 400,000 policemen.
Less than 500,000.
Do you know how many policemen are serving the Nigerian public? Can you tell me that?
Well, I think I don't have that data. No. Well, I've already been told that I've seen a letter, really not confirmed, that has said that I think some of the VIPs they've withdrawn some of their police officers, so that there can be more men to deal with.
So on this case, I think you need to give credit to the IGP.
To the IGP.
Yes, you need to.
Do you know how many celebrities?
For everything happening,
our policemen.
Have you seen the convoy of some celebrities in this country?
Yeah.
Are these celebrities not Nigerians? Are they not aware they're also abusing it?
Now you are making let's make this argument in a straight manner.
Yes.
Have you seen the security convoy of the video?
Of course, not only him, several
Have you seen that of e-money? No, are these people occupying any position?
Have you seen my own?
Go to any look.
You have nothing.
Go to any governor's go to any governor's office in this country.
Yes.
How many of our communities are unpoliced?
Whereas the VIPs have,
yes,
some of them have about 10. Private cities 4, 5, 10.
But with the new IGP in place,
no, the guys are still with these VIPs. And you know the funny thing, we've seen severally IGPs who will come and say, no, this would have to end, no more. After all the offing and puffing, the status quo remains. And that's what we still have now. We have seen IGPs come to, we are ending checkpoints, blah, 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 withdrawing. After all of the, yes.
Can I tell you what that is intended to achieve?
Yes.
Visit us in our office.
To come and what?
Yeah, now come
and so we can make an arrangement now. The other arrangement was with the whole team.
But again, apologies to all our listeners. We are going to step down the second issue.
We know what is it now.
The Dangote conversation would come maybe next week, really, because I think there's because look at the number of.
But that's not even a big issue.
A big issue. No,
we don't have the details.
so we'll look at it next week, really, because there are still some undertones, really, so many underlying issues around Dangote and this so-called oil cabal or mafia. Yes.
My concern is this.
Yes.
Police is still my friend and they are my friend.
Our friends. They are supposed to be our friends.
If IGP may be talking, IGP may be talking, the give order, and don't be surprised. Because even the police officer, they are equally facing this sackpa like all of us. And don't be surprised if they push you to a point. What if their men and John say we are all Nigerians?
No,
say the thing is, so they have to be extra
I think
careful
collectively on this
what they
table,
want to do.
We have all agreed that look, any protester that goes out vandalizing properties
should be dealt with.
I think we've said
we are against violent
in any form.
Unanimously. We are also against the IG criminalizing civil protests.
Okay, maybe to put a proper perspective to what the IGP has said again. I want to crave your indulgence that we play that audio clip again.
Yes.
So that, because there seems to be, I think Onabuche was hearing something else. Bisagois was hearing something else. It's a perception issue.
It's not a perception issue.
It's beginning to look like that.
I don't think you need to replay it.
Okay.
We heard him loud and clear.
Patriotic.
It describes those who are pulled out of the protest as patriotic Nigerians.
You know, Onabuche thinks it's a perception issue.
No, it's not a perception issue.
As far as I'm concerned, all Nigerians who want peace for Nigeria are patriotic.
No, it's those that withdraw from the protest
are patriotic. But those who are going to eventually, one way or the other, make it lead to violence are unpatriotic and should be dealt with.
Anybody who disagrees with this government is unpatriotic. Anybody who should
that's not true.
I want to beg my producer, and I want to beg the panel and our listeners to let's listen to the IGP again.
Correct.
And we'll start to take notes word after word and see whether we have a perception issue here where, you know. But let's just quickly listen to the IGP again. Just, I think it's about 2-3 minutes. We'll listen to him again.
The planned protest scheduled for August 1st, 2024 across the country. We have been monitoring developments surrounding protest threats, while some groups call for violent protests, emulating Kenya's recent events. Others advocate for peaceful demonstrations. However, some individuals promote peaceful protest with violent undertones, raising concerns about their sincerity. We have our own history of violent protests in Nigeria, and I don't believe we have to look to other countries to note the dangers of unchecked demonstrations. We commend patriots who have withdrawn from the protest due to the apparent sinister motives and ignorance of those calling for violence. We note those who have spoken out against any form of protest at this critical juncture, fearing enemies of our country may be manipulating the process. We confirm their fears are genuine, as we have credible intelligence on foreign mercenaries' involvement in this planned protest. The Nigerian police urge all Nigerians to exercise caution and think twice before joining any protest group. While we alert citizens to the sinister motives of certain groups planning to wreak havoc, it has become clear that even a peaceful protest at this time may be ill-timed. We issue a stern warning to clandestine groups plotting to destabilize the country and hoodlums seeking to exploit protests for their criminal agendas. We will not tolerate the killing of innocent citizens, destruction of public infrastructure and private property, or looting of private businesses. We acknowledge the constitutional right of Nigerian citizens to peaceful assembly and protest. However, in the interest of public safety and order, we urge all groups planning to protest to provide necessary details to the Commissioner of Police in the state where protest is intended to take place. To facilitate a successful and incident-free protest, they should please provide the following information. 1. Proposed protest routes and assembly points. 2. Expected duration of the protest. 3. Names and contact details of protest leaders and organizers. 4. Measures to prevent hijacking by criminal elements, including key identifiers for possible isolation of potential troublemakers. By providing this information, the police will be enabled to deploy adequate personnel and resources to ensure public safety, designate specific routes and areas for the protest to avoid conflicts with other events or activities, establish clear communication channels with protest leaders to address any concerns or issues that may arise, minimize the risk of violence, property damage, or other criminal activity. We encourage all protesters to cooperate with the police, obey the law, and adhere to global best practices for peaceful assembly to guarantee a safe and successful exercise of their rights. We are committed to working with all Nigerians to promote peaceful expression and maintain public order. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation. May the God of all creations help us to build our nation.
All right, God of all creations, help us to build our nation. That sounded very patriotic, really. I think I like that part. But let's do a quick summary. The IGP talked about violent undertones. All right, again, because again, it's been very hot here. The conversation has been very, very hot. I like all of the angles that we've touched on. But this is Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. We have Honorable Shona here in the studio. We have Barrister Curtis Adigba in the studio. We also have Joseph Folorunsho in the studio. Again, the IGP talked about people who are calling for the protest, a peaceful protest with violent undertones. He also talked about people who are already attempting to manipulate the entire process. The fact that the police also have intelligence of some foreign mercenaries. He has talked about people exercising caution to join any group at all who are calling for this protest. He's talked about being careful. But he also said as much as the Constitution guarantees the right of people to peaceful protest, at this time, a peaceful protest is even ill-timed.
Correct.
As much as the Constitution guarantees peaceful protest, even that peaceful protest, in the wisdom and knowledge of the IGP, is ill-timed. Yes, I think so there's no perception issue.
Yeah, that is clear.
And then, sorry, Pastor Curtis. He now also said that those that want to now even protest, they must submit the following. That sounded like writing jam or something worse than jam.
Yeah.
Your proposed route where you want to pass, the duration that today is 2 or 3 hours or 4 hours, and this is where we'll gather. The names and contacts of the leaders of the protest and the measures they will be taking.
Yes.
To ensure
on the route
that hoodlums and violent
from Ogun State to Sanders Place
does not hijack the protest, so that the police can. Honorable Shona,
yeah,
this is as good as saying no to protest, don't you think?
Thank you.
It's simple.
In a large extent, the police is only doing their job to ensure the protest is peaceful, if there is a protest.
Okay.
To start with, the conditions put out there is to first even know those who choose to participate peacefully. Your intentions are good. You're pressurizing your government to give better life, which yes, it is the right of every Nigerian to demand. And if you want to demand for this, then let us sit down together and know how you intend to manage this protest. Because every protest should also be managed, else it will go out of hand. So talking about, let us know the routes, because other people who choose not to participate in the protest and go their normal business ways can actually avoid those routes. For example, construction goes on some route. Like I was on my way here, and when I got to Ojota, I discovered there's a construction going on that route. I had to find another route.
Were you informed by the government that there's construction going on there?
But when I got there,
I saw something there have been information as to
something about
that's going to be for 3 months.
Of course, I forgot.
Yeah.
So as I was driving down, I saw that I had to change my route. So if these people choose to work with the police, because we say the police is our friend and the police is saying, okay, let us know your routes, where you choose to gather, and all of that, so that those who want to go their normal business ways can find other routes. Not that you just pop up at every place and have blockades or barricades on all roads.
So you think the police is on point, right?
To a large extent,
but there was an announcement for
the problem I have here.
As long as there is room, even if all these conditions are not met, but of course, all the conditions might not be met, but to a large extent, some of these conditions can be met, okay, and then it will still guarantee some level of, these protesters.
Before I come to you, by
cooperating with the police.
So what would you say about the statement of the IGP that, look, even a peaceful protest at this time is ill-timed?
With the situation of insecurity in the country,
all right,
I must say some people could infiltrate.
So you think it's ill-timed? So even if it's peaceful,
for the protest?
There is never a best time for a protest. I must say, there is never a best time for a protest. But in as much as there is never a best time,
yes,
we can actually also look for other means
than really eating the streets.
Like what?
Like what?
Alternatives?
Give us two alternatives.
Two alternatives.
I think
the
one.
government will listen and take action.
Currently, us being in the studio alone talking about this and the government is listening.
Just say 1 week.
We that have been discovered.
It's one of the ways.
I may not pronounce
the
it very
social
well.
media
I may not
is a very strong tool.
Social media is also
of protest. For example, the Senate president, I think, did something wrong against a female senator.
Yeah.
It was called out on social media.
And he apologized.
But
even the apology get killed. But at least he
apologized openly.
Yes.
And it was accepted on social media.
And the protest came from social. So you think that we can actually remain on social media and still get the attention of government?
While we exploit other means, I'm not saying we should remain there.
But it's one of the means
there was an announcement on social media.
We need to open the phone line.
This one that woman say, is it a big power? That one was enough announcement that hunger won't kill us. But nobody listened.
That's not true.
Hold on.
Don't say nobody listen. Are you saying you are not acknowledging the fact that some things are being done?
When the woman announced that, he said, hunger won't kill us.
Hold on.
Some people have been receiving the grant.
As the president resumed on checking his social media handles now, you know, he said
he doesn't listen to social media.
I don't check anything. I don't listen there.
They abuse the hell out of me.
I don't go there at all.
The fact that he's not going there doesn't mean he doesn't have somebody who manages his page and reports back to him.
Okay, he said he doesn't listen to social media.
But
have you heard the president come to say?
Before you open the lines,
if the special advisor on communications to the president is saying it's Peter Obi and some naysayers who have lost, bad election losers, do you now think that?
I hope you know.
Yes. You know, Obi organized the one in Kenya.
Every protest is taken advantage of by opposition.
Of course,
even
yes.
This government
did that too when he was in the opposition. Yes,
and it is not also out of place for the government in power to also play politics with it.
You know, Fuad, you know
it's
my
not
regret.
Out of place
you know my
if
regret.
The opposition,
as
it is okay for the opposition to play politics with it. It is not out of place for the government in power to also play politics with it.
I am not a tech person to use AI.
Yes.
And get the president to say the exact word that I'm going to say. I just imagine in my mind that the president is not the president and is still in the opposition. And the government in power with the president is acting the way his government is acting. I want to do an AI that will say to, fellow Nigerians, peaceful protest is the right of Nigerians. You cannot give them conditions under which they will protest and all that. This is what the same president will be saying. But you know what? We now know that status have changed. And what politicians do, and I'm not talking about this president alone, they use the pains of the people to get power. And as soon as they get power, they turn their backs on them. They're going to hold in the country. I hope you know that.
Of course.
Of course.
There have been protests that the president himself
participated
in the past.
And it was peaceful.
Did anybody give him these conditions?
There were conditions then.
No. Did anybody give him
the conditions
that they
listed
out?
There were conditions then. And
he didn't meet those conditions before they protested.
Meet all of those conditions. And there were protests held before that people were also dispersed.
Do you know the biggest problem that we face?
Yes.
The biggest problem that we face is that the Nigerian police force does not see itself as the people's police force.
That's just it.
They see themselves at every point in time as the force of those in power. And that their main duty is to protect.
I must say it's unfair to continue to call out the police force in this manner.
No. Call them out every day.
As though they don't have the values they also have.
No. Let's get it very clear.
So we shouldn't generalize it.
What you're saying again is a clear understanding of the words that have been used carefully. Again, looking at precedents and looking at the democracy we currently run, that if it is guaranteed, the rights of people are guaranteed.
If those words came from an
which
area
also
commander,
says we welcome
it.
Yes.
He says we welcome peaceful protests.
But when you now say, when you now begin to attach,
some elements who may want
and then begin to use words as some people are not patriots. And look, again, it's all about
Oga Fuad. Yes. Maybe you go help us to talk to her. What time? What's the right time for us to go for protest?
Because you have said that even a peaceful protest at this time is ill time.
Can postpone it.
I will tell you what the right time for the protest.
Yes.
A week before the next election. That's the best time to protest.
A week before the next election.
Yes.
Okay, that will not be ill time.
Because you know why?
Yes.
If we can't hold the election, we'll postpone the stay in power continuously.
Well, I don't know about that. Your suggestion. But what's the best time, really?
There's never a perfect time for protest.
No, not according to IGPO.
There is never a perfect time for protest.
We need to open the phone lines. And I really have a lot of messages to deal with. So we're going to be very discreet with our timing for the callers. 1 minute for every caller, please. And let's try and keep to that timing. And I'll try as much as possible to also take all of the messages we have on Facebook. We have quite a number of messages also on YouTube. I'll say I'm going to juggle it through and see how to take care of that. For those with so long messages, I'm sorry, I probably will have to edit and just take a part of your message. Please bear with us. The phone line is officially open, 09136 000410. It's Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. We have Barrister Curtis Adigba in the studio, Honorable WG SAW in the studio, and Joseph Folorunsho. We'll start with the calls now. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, my name is Taiwo from Ota.
Sorry?
My name is Taiwo from Ota.
Okay, Taiwo from Ota, please. Go on, sir. 1 minute.
Yeah, I want to commend the Barrister Curtis. He has spoken the mind of the common Nigerian. Yes, concerning the protest, the IGP is giving conditions for people to protest. I think it is not right for him to do so. Because when these politicians were seeking for the vote of the common Nigerians, they were not giving it of conditions. And for the other honorable, so that is how honorable speaks. Anyway, I'm not surprised and I'm not disappointed. He is a spokesperson to the government.
He's not the spokesperson.
I'm not the spokesperson to the government.
He's not the spokesperson.
Because the way you speak, I don't think you feel the pain.
Just address the issues, Mr. Taiwo. No, leave the Mr. Taiwo, please leave the analysis. Just address the issues. That's why you have the floor now. Yes.
And he's now saying that the common Nigerians should provide information for the security so that they can tackle the insecurity. Why are they paid? Why are they being paid? Tell me. You should explain to the common Nigerians. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Taiwo from Ota. Thank you so much for that phone call. 09136 000410. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. My name is Dola from Sule.
Dola?
Ola from Sule.
Okay, Ola from Sule. Please go on, sir.
Yes, I think I want to comment those of you in the studio.
Thank you.
Particularly the honorable report to the studio.
All right.
Wow. I think ever since I've been watching your program, this is the best program I've ever done. This is the best, the best episode I've ever listened to.
All right.
When you want to analyze something like this, it is better you bring in somebody that can balance the situation. Ever since you've been speaking about this so-called protest and all the line, you have to bring somebody to balance the situation. Now, as we are hearing from the side of people that will support the protest, we should hear from the side of the government too. And I think, and I want to say finally, well,
yes,
you are better come as a political analyst or public analyst than a journalist. Why I said so? Simply because most of the time when you analyze things,
yes,
you don't give us the opportunity to live.
Oh, I was hoping to listen. I was hoping to listen for what he had to say. Okay, but you can still call back Ola from Surulere. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, this is Tyler from Solo.
Okay, Tyler from Isolo. Please go on.
Yeah. See, when we have a president who cannot.
Tyler, can you turn down the volume of a radio set and probably speak directly to your phone? Take it from hands free. Yeah.
Let me turn it off.
All right.
Now, when you have a president who cannot do anything about.
We can hear, Ola, you are sounding very far now. Speak directly to your phone. We can't hear you, Ola. Hello, Ola. Oof. Hello, good evening.
Sorry, good evening.
Yes, good evening. Your name, sir?
I think it's Austin from WG
Okay, Austin, please go on, sir.
Yeah. Please, I first of all, I want to commend Barrister Curtis for his wisdom and understanding in terms of handling some of the topics. Now, I want to say this, and I want, with all sincerity, the Nigerian police force should be very careful with the way they are handling this issue. Because the way they are sounding with the warning from the governors, I don't want protest, I don't want this, might even cause violence on its own. The people might not take this as violence on initial stage, but by the time the police begin to shoot at people, begin to kill people, it will cause more violence. The people will react back.
I don't think that would happen, really. I
sincerely pray so. I don't pray for violence. But you see, just like Barrister Curtis has said, and exactly the way it is in the Nigerian Constitution, it is the responsibility of every citizen to express that displeasure when it comes to some of the policies that the government are taking. So if the government knows what is best for themselves and for the country, everybody should comport themselves and let the people express themselves. And they themselves not sponsor thugs to go and cause violence, and then they begin to say, okay, the protests have turned violent, and then they begin to deploy the military, just like they did during the NSAS. So everybody should comport themselves and allow the people to express themselves.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Justin. God sent from Ujodubega. 09136000410. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. I'm Michael. I'm calling from Joju.
Joju, that's in Ota, right?
Yeah.
Please turn down the volume of your radio set.
Are you hearing me now?
Just turn down the volume completely. We're still having the feedback.
Are you hearing me now?
Yeah, better.
Now, what I want
to... Okay, it was a very noisy call, really. Hello, good evening. Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
Muhammad Abbas, calling from Ikeja.
Yeah.
Yeah, Muhammad Abbas.
Muhammad from Ikeja. Yeah. All right, please go on, Muhammad Abbas.
Yeah. I greet my brother and my elder, Mr. Barrister.
Right.
Thank you. Protest, I am very ready. I'm telling you, I'm ready to come out. A lot of us will come out. I dare the police to touch any of us.
No, don't dare the police, please. Mohammed, wait, Mohammed. Those are the violent undertones that the IGP seems to be talking about.
So why is it
wait, Mohammed Abbas. It's clear that, look, you can come out and protest, but it has to be peaceful, and there's no need to dare the police. You right? You can come out and protest peacefully, but don't use the word you want to dare the police. Don't dare the police.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay,
the police is actually going to protect you. Don't dare them. Yes.
All right. No problem. So what we are saying is that we are going to protest, and we have the right to do this. And unfortunately, it is dead to our neck. Nobody is not feeling it. Right?
I'm with you.
This man, he said that subsidy has gone. Very simple. Subsidy is back. Everything will go down. Just announce it. Subsidy is back. That's what we want. You should bring back the subsidy. It's enough of this. We don't want you in the first place. You manipulate the system and get to that level.
Okay, no, you see. All right, thank you, Mohammed Abbas. No, again, well, we understand the pains, we understand the emotions and sentiments that comes with some of this conversation, but again, let's be a bit careful. I think we need to reiterate and emphasize the fact that, look, you have a right to protest. I think the IGP was very clear about that. But I think the concern, and I think this general consensus on the roundtable this evening is that, look, we must ensure that the protest is peaceful. That's what we want to achieve. You have a right to, complain. You have a right to go out there and make your opinion known. Assemble yourself in a very peaceful manner, and don't go out here with the notion of daring the police. That's the violent undertone that I think we should all condemn, as we keep talking about the need and the rights of the Nigerians to protest against what they feel displeased about when it comes to government policy. Let's take a call again. Hello, good evening.
Hello. Yeah, good evening, Fuad and the esteemed guest in the studio.
Yeah, good evening.
My name is
Yes.
Impliedly, anyway, but they know themselves. See, it is very clear. This is a clear case of beating a child and you don't want the child to cry. People are feeling the pain. I agree that some of them are not feeling it. Like your guest in there wasn't feeling it.
Just leave the guest and address the issue.
I'm sorry if your man to attacking the personality. But as I am talking to you, I am feeling the pain. Honestly, I knew how I was last year, even before this government came on board. See, you cannot tell people not to protest. Let them express their idea. Listen to them, hear them out. Then from then you can. As a government, you know what to do. But this idea of telling the police to come and be threatening people that they do this. When our president led the protest in 2012, nobody came out to tell the president that protest was not good. So, in as much as the protest was good there, so let them accept that it is equally good now for people to express their grievances.
All right.
Good evening.
Thank you so much, Adeyinka. 091360004. I'll take this call and then we'll start to take the messages on Facebook. Hello, good evening.
A very good evening to all of you in the studio.
Good evening, Prince Wise.
Evening on you,
yes.
You see, number one, protest is allowed. And I must commend the IG. The way he spoke very well. What I'm talking about. He does want to disrupt this protest. He's why he's talking to can he be swapping them? We know what happened in Lagos during SSF period. All of us, those private bodies that reach affected, so never recover from today. All the histories they burned down there, they looted there. Okay, we have a platform in BRC. When you, out of 200, 100 something was burned down, who's going to suffer for it? So we, as I'm talking to you, I'm protesting already, have laid down what I want Mr. President to do. And when you talk about 2012, it's mature protest. They gathered themselves at Ojota, and on the 7th day, military take over. Any government, no government, we throughout the world, we like protest. But as it is now, it must be allowed. It is part of democracy. But the man is still there is saying the right thing to say. And the way you people are criticizing, fine good. The opposition want everything to take place, but we don't want violence. I tell Mr. President, open national stadium in Lagos, open MK Abiola in Abuja, want to pray, go there. But when you say that to prevent in every street, what of private body who is selling their market? They lose their market, they lose their shops, they lose their property. We got to pay them.
All right.
Mr. IG, they are talking very well.
Okay.
Who is not supporting him? Maybe ask what motive. Good evening to you.
All right, thank you, Prince Wise. you see
and who is saying the market women are not going to protest?
They
told him they're not joining the protest.
Anyways, I think
some
whatever.
Will join, some will not.
Some will join, some will not.
So,
I think the consensus again that the police must do his job, protect everybody. Both the protester and the non-protester should be protected. Yeah. We have Frank Emeha saying, good evening, men in the studio. Many groups are cashing out from this protest from the government. That is why you can see many of them forming one group or the other. Okay, we don't know about people cashing out. Well, we have Ando Campbell saying, in my lifetime, I've never seen a government so jittery about the possibility of a protest. I'm shocked that the people in government are so afraid. President Tinubu financed a massive, I don't know. Let's be careful with some of the allegations and statements will make. We have Chijioke Azu, who is saying Tinubu took decisions that are hurting Nigerians without consulting anyone. Today, he's calling anyone that is ready to answer for discussion on how to stop a planned peaceful protest over hunger, killings, and high living costs. That's wrong. You should stop the protest by doing what's right. Any use of brutal force to stop the protesters will not achieve the results expected. Subsidy is gone. Comment on his inauguration day is the reason a tuber of yam is 12,000 naira today. Is the reason a 2-bedroom flat, which used to be charged for 200,000 a month, Light is charging for 20,000 for a 2-bedroom flat. The reason beans has become the food of the rich, ordinary beans. So yet most states can't pay 30,000 minimum wage. Nigeria is sinking too quick. Where to land will be okay. That's Chijioke from Isolo. We have area saying, can someone tell me how protest has helped improve the living conditions of Kenyans as of today? Can someone brief me how the Kenyan youth are now more better than what they were before the protest? At the end, President Ruto will still be enjoying his 3 square meal every day, spiced up with wine. But the poor Kenyans that their business places have been looted and destroyed will bear the brunt of retrogressive life. I believe in Nigeria and the promise she owes. One way she will sink like the sun.
First and foremost, the tax that was going to kill ordinary
has been
Kenyans
repealed by the government.
Has been repealed.
So the protest has achieved that.
2, government leaders are cutting down on the cost of governance and on their allowances.
Yes, emoluments and allowances. Yeah.
3, the IGP
of Kenya
has stepped down. 4, members of Congress are now wearing T-shirts and going back to their constituency to apologize
talk to them and apologize
for turning against the people. Now, if these are not benefits from the protest, then you don't know what you are.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, sir. We have Tochukwu Tiadele saying, imagine the protest didn't owe. The part of the political capital of the politicians would have been strengthened. No callers of citizen protests will be taken serious. President Tinubu and politicians will tell people how they deal with them. You can forgive. Why must you forget? Forgive and forget. They will tell you how they dealt. I really, this is a bit too difficult for me to piece together. But let's make this short and simple so that we can quickly take these messages and move to other things. It's recommending that if the people wish to protest at any time, they should be constructively engaged or be allowed to express their grievances. All this fear of violence because this planned protest is announced, not impromptu or spontaneous, is Aran Balbadash. That's Tochukwu Adele Thompson from Obani Koros. We have Joseph Ando saying, ask that man, when has the government feeding the people? I've never been fed by any agency of the government. So what's he saying? When the president was removing subsidies to generate revenue, was he thinking he has angels as governors? That's Joseph Andoava. Then we have Andose Campbell saying, good evening, please. I want to beg the anchor of this program not to allow, he said, no, there's no falsehood anywhere. We should have different, that's the beauty of democracy, really. We shouldn't be seeing things all from the same perspective. It is better to always fact check them when they are churning out. Example, the current hardship in Nigeria is global. There's no country in the world now food inflation. Okay, you have your own points, but
government in other parts of the world are providing real palliatives, unemployment benefits, child benefits. They're cutting taxes and all that. So in our own cases, everything is going up.
In the cases of Nigeria, taxes are cut.
Where? Who? By who? And for who?
Can we just hold on? The person in charge of tax in Nigeria came up and is streamlining the tax system so that the multiple taxation that is happening.
That is the proposal.
Has that been implemented? The tax waivers
today. If you buy food in any shop, any of the fast food, you are paying VAT.
And the same applies everywhere.
You transfer.
Why do we try to isolate Nigeria as though
you transfer money abroad from your phone? You don't pay charges.
Yes, I know you don't pay charges.
But in Nigeria here, if I transfer 5,000, I'm going to pay 3 sets of taxes. At the end of the day, they will still tell me what they call maintenance fee.
Then this is it.
So
that is why every protest should be properly planned and organized. If our protest is to talk about what the banks are charging us, then we as people say that's the truth. We wait to compound everything, and then we start to have issues one after the other.
Issues are affecting the standard of living
and
creating pains for the average citizens. That's why they are putting all the issues in the basket for the government to address.
And I hope we
can't hold protests for every issue at every point in time.
In other climes, for everything that comes out, one after the other is being addressed. They don't wait till we have everything compounded. Yes, in Nigeria.
But that is the government that's supposed to be doing all those things.
It's compounded in Nigeria. Now that it's compounded, are we expecting
the US government
who compounded
the US
we the people and the government?
No,
because even the government is formed by the people.
Can I tell you, the US government pays subsidy up to $1 billion a day on petrol.
One of the contributors said, is the president expecting the governors to be saints?
Yeah, before giving out all of these monies to them.
Who elected the governors?
But we also elected the president.
So now,
but the people,
of the governors or the president
but would you
elected by the people?
But
and instead of the people to call out their governors, they are not doing that.
No. I ask you, you say that they say this government is cutting taxes. Please show me the area where they have cut taxes.
I would have
wait. Let's move on. Let's move on. Really. All right. We have WG %SOᴜ saying, okay, he's talking about the honorable, where the fertilizer, seed, and land. It's wrong to say the people of the South don't want to go into agriculture, because he's asking where is the fertilizer, seed, and land. John Bernard, he is saying, good evening, House. Please, with due respect, I disagree with your guest. He keeps saying this inflation is worldwide. What has the government done in their own side? He said that they keep wasting money, things that have no impact on the citizens. We have the world. We're saying, please, help tell, okay, I really don't like messages that attack our guests, so I'll have to move on from some of these messages. Or boss, we're saying, good evening, please, that guy that blamed Nigeria should not, okay. He's sending that from Roland. That's Roland from all the way from California. We have Chijioke Odimba saying, I'm not really for protesting, but the arrogance of the politicians replicated by. All right, we have Abdurafiu Alabalakwe who's saying, I greet all of you guys fundamentally and happy Sunday. The issue of protest, the protesters should shelve it. Their message has already been passed to the authority, specifically President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with the kind of high-powered meetings the president has been having since the date of the protest.
He has responded and solved all the problems.
Yeah, we also have Prince Leo Zoma saying, good evening, guys, and kudos to Mr. Curtis for not allowing self-faulty narratives on. Okay. Have we made any improvement on any governance parameters from when APC took over governance in 2015 till date? That's Leo Zoma from Isolo, Lagos. Then we have Ben Stevens saying Nigeria should stop hypocrisy. The subsidy must be returned. It is done all over the world. We have Babatunde Ayinde saying, good evening. The South are so lazy in farming to the extent they depend heavily on foods coming from the North. General statements, no. You can't say the South is lazy. Now that the North is in insecurity problem, they are now facing, we are now feeling it. If South are not, don't say the South is lazy. I don't really want to take statements that generalize this much. But thank you so much, Mr. Tunde from Ijegun. We have good evening to you, my people in the studio. My name is Victor from Shomolo, the honorable that is, okay. We have Patrick Obiazo saying any country whose past seems to be better than the present is neither developing nor progressing or retrogressing. It seems to me that the government is still campaigning after election.
Tell that boy to take a bottle of Zobo on my head.
They blame everyone and anyone except themselves for the rapid economic decline of Nigeria and Nigerians. Government is not run on propaganda. Correct. We also have Unwundu Austin saying, can we say that the president to me is too big to have a media chat and talk to Nigerians? Why is that Tinubu cannot talk to Nigerians? He's sending ministers of information and special advisors to address us. That's from Unwundu Austin. And then we have Kunle Oladapo saying, nice one, barista. We have Sunday Noah saying, happy Sunday evening, distinguished gentlemen. The present government shouldn't see contrary opinions and views from the citizens as rebellion. By now, the government should discuss the tension of the impending protest by reversing some of the economic policies that are detrimental to the masses, which are very obvious. And then we have Basil Chika saying, I think government, in my opinion, want to test the strength of the people. What they should do, if not, what stops Tinubu to engage Nigeria instead of all of these meetings after various committees it constituted failed woefully. He should know all the big men is calling are part and parcel of the problem. And then we have Tochukwu Tiadele saying, threat to the pants, the organized crime in when a gang has a, okay, those are very strong statements that can't be read on radio. We have Sean Johnson saying the perception of the IGP speech interpreted is what is called selective perception, like what I would always say. It depends on the divide you are in for interpretation. That has been said. There will be no toleration of my case.
Nobody wants it.
As for me, I don't understand the grammar of inflation rate. Too many messages to deal with. I'm sorry. The messages are just pouring in and we have to close the show. And I can't even take any messages. Again, we have to even raise the second discussion for the evening. I think it's been a brilliant conversation, and I think the consensus on the roundtable this evening is that, look, People have a right to protest, but it must be peaceful. The people must play their role. The government must play their role. Security operatives must also play their role to protect the protester and ensure that the protest is peaceful. 30 seconds, Mr. Curtis, your final take on the show.
Nigerians, let me remind you, those of you who are buying into this cheap argument that the point of many times the labor union had to go on strike
before their demands were met.
And they kept making this point.
And the demands were met.
We have a government that is deaf. Deaf. If you know you cannot go out for a peaceful protest, stay at home.
Don't go out there causing trouble.
Please, I beg you in the name of God. If you want to go out and be prepared to peacefully protest.
Okay, that's the message from Barrister Curtis Adigba. If you must protest, protest peacefully. If you don't want to be peaceful, stay at home. Thank you so much, Barrister Curtis Adigba. Honorable Shunaya, 30 seconds.
I must say, it's our position and my position that people's right to protest is paramount, and people have the right to protest peacefully. And should you want to protest or be part of the protest, participate peacefully. If you don't want to be part of the protest, you don't have to stay at home. Go your normal business way, okay, without having to have any issues with whoever is protesting. Is part of this protest. Yes.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable Bolaji Shunaya, for being a part of the show. Joseph Lonshaw, 30 seconds. We need to leave the studio.
Yeah, I am not more Nigerian than any security agency. Neither are they more Nigeria
than you,
than me, and they don't have any single right, no constitutional right that is guaranteed them to threaten the life of anybody. They should
wants to protest.
They should be civil in their language. That you have gone doesn't mean that you can control a lot of things.
All right. Thank you so much, Joseph Lonshaw, for that final one. It's been wonderful conversation, Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Saeed Fuhad. Let's do this again next week.